Howdy, boys, girls, guys, and squirrels, so close here. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Welcome back, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day. So we got a interesting video here today. It is called 13 Levels of Beatboxing, Easy to Complex, which is uploaded by Wired. Wired was always, I believe, like a big magazine back in the day and website, just talking about like technology and stuff like within pop culture that is kind of interesting along this realm. And they've done other levels of certain things, easy to complex, and it's always very interesting. And big shout out to Gollum. He let me know on Discord. He's also a Patreon. And I figured, let's check this out. Let's see the 13 levels of beatboxing. Also, ladies and gentlemen, let me know of videos to check out for the future down in the comment section below, as well as dropping an L, hitting the bell.
My name is Butterscotch. I'm a singer, beatboxer, first female beatbox world champion, and you may have seen me on America's Got Talent. And today we're going to break down 13 levels of complexity in beatboxing. Beatboxing is the art of vocal percussion.
I got the mic right.
So every sound you make is only using your mouth. It's one of the most unique things that you can do because everyone is different. So we're all gonna have some sort of different style that we add. So remember, this is my version of what makes beatboxing complex.
Oh yeah, she's throwing that in there because the haters are about to roll in and be like, wow, this chick sucks, bro. Like that always happens because people always think it's a competition of like, oh my God, you're not as good as this person, but you know, everybody has their own unique style. I'm glad that she put that in there because it's true. And that's what a lot of beatboxers would tell these haters, that like, dude, like I have my own style. I do my own thing. It's a hobby, at least for me. I mean, for people that are doing it professionally, it's a little bit different. But, you know, I see it all the time in my comments like, wow, you suck, dude. Wow, great progression over these years. It's like, dude, beatboxing to me is like an escape. And, yeah, I don't really look at it as far as easy to complex. I just look at it as fun and not fun. What's more fun? I just like doing it, dude. Don't attack me for it.
Bass drum. So we're going to start with the simplest sound, which is the bass drum. And this is the heartbeat. It sets the tempo and the tone for whatever beat you're gonna do. So the perfect way to get this sound is to really accentuate your lips and the air pushing through. And so what you're really doing is forcing the air out of your mouth. It's gonna take time to build up that muscle in your lips, but once you get the strength, then it's gonna be a clean, hard. So we have the bass drum, but now we need another percussive element to help drive that beat. Level 2, snare. So we're gonna take the bass drum and add a snare to it. This is what actually makes the beat. It's not just a heartbeat. The easiest and quickest way to beatbox is just to say boots and cats together. Boots.
Oh, God.
Cats. Saying these two words together,
I would never thought that would be a
mouth
tutorial
for the
technique.
Right form to beatbox with the right sounds. So when you say these two words together, you're creating a very simple rhythm that people can play over or rap over or jam over.
Cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, cats, boots, cats.
I wonder who like ever invented that. Like whoever thought like this would be a great learning technique. I never thought that, but that seems to be like if you really have no idea or have no sense of rhythm and pacing, because some people just don't have it naturally. That could be like a good way to get into it, just because of the length of the words. Kind of boots, cats. I don't know, maybe not.
3 hi-hat. So we got the bass, we've got the snare, and now we're adding the hi-hat. And this is completing the elements of the basic sounds of a drum kit. Everything else in beatboxing, they're just embellishments. And if you want to see the core elements, here's a drum kit. You've got your bass,
Oh my God,
you've got
production
your snare,
quality,
and you've got your hi-hat.
They do a really good job at visualizing.
But the hi-hat, you really
want
to make these sounds tight. And this is what makes the rhythm move. It pushes it, and it sounds almost like a sprinkler too. You don't want it to be too loose, because then you're gonna lose that technical sound that you want. That's just not gonna hit it. You just gotta make it clean. Hi-hats can be closed, or they can also be open. So So now that we have our core sounds, let's introduce a basic beat. So beats can be anything, but this is the simplest, most basic hip-hop beat. So I'm taking the bass, I'm taking the snare, and I'm taking the hi-hat, and I'm gonna put them in this order.
It's not really levels though. Like now that
So I
I'm
can
thinking
throw
about
in
it,
another bass.
it's not really like levels of easy to complex. These are just different sounds. Unless something changes.
Drum, which makes the rhythm and the pattern sound a little bit more exciting.
It's the combination
It's
of all
one
the
thing
sounds that
to
makes it
just make
easy
those
to complex.
sounds, but over time, as you practice and your lips get stronger, you're gonna sound like this. So
I
this
love how
is
she's doing a
super
different
simple.
snare
It's
than what
basically
she showed.
the Mary Had a Little Lamb of hip-hop beats. If you listen back to Lottie Dottie, Dougie Fresh, the original human beatbox, this is the beat that's behind it.
This song's been
We like to party. We don't cause trouble. Don't bother
one of the
nobody.
most
So this
sampled
whole time,
songs.
the snare I've been
ever.
using, it can become kind of monotonous if you're just always using the same type of snare, even just within a song. So what happens when I
Okay, I'm gonna
change it
stop
up to
talking.
make things a little bit more complex?
Changing the
I can
snare.
interchange the snare with a bunch of other different sounds, and that's what makes it more dynamic. I can do p sounds. So combining the you can mix them all up and come up with all different kinds of snares. The push sounds are more like hitting the snare or a drum machine, whereas the sound is like a rim shot. You don't want to use all the sounds all at once. It'd be like having a drummer just play every single drum, and it's not really making a beat, it's just sound.
That's what I used to do when I had a drum set.
So when you first start beatboxing, you're pretty much gonna have to plan out your breaths. Most of the snares that I'm using, I'm breathing outward. So this is what it looks like when all the sounds that I'm using are breathing out. I run out of
I don't
breath
even think
because
about
there's
it, to be honest. I don't even think about it. Maybe I should. But I don't even think about like how I plan out my breaths. That might be something to actually learn from.
no time to even catch my breath. Whereas if I'm breathing inward, I can go faster, I can breathe while I'm actually beatboxing. I can just interlace my breathing with the beat itself. After a while, then it just becomes second nature and you can just breathe within the beat. So when you're a drummer, sometimes you make two sounds at once. I only have one mouth. So this level of complexity is taking two of the core elements of the drum kit and putting them together. So here's my bass, and here's my hi-hat, and I'm just gonna combine them. So this is me doing it normal, and this is me adding the bass and hi-hat together.
Well, I think that this video is
You
going to
can
be
add
taking
multiple
over as far as the
sounds
best.
at the same time,
beginner
but
beatbox
we're gonna
tutorial.
save that for a couple levels later. Everything we've been doing up to now has been percussive, but now, level 7, adding a bass line. I don't have the vocal range to go super low, but what I can do is vibrate my lips and get this certain frequency that creates this tone and this pitch. So with this lip bass, I'm basically just vibrating my lips. But this is getting
amount of people that are gonna be
tighter
doing this
form,
in their
and you're
rooms
actually
right
making
now.
pitches and tones.
Now that we're all quarantined, this would be a good time to pick up a hobby. Here you go.
So I'm gonna take this bass sound and add it to the beat. This is the limit of what I can do with the bass sound since I don't have the vocal cords that stretch that low. But with other beatboxers like Inertia,
Oh, shout out Inertia!
they can go super, super low that create this like subwoofer bass. All levels up to now have been using my mouth. But now we're gonna add another level of complexity by using my throat. Level 8, humming. Humming in beatboxing is one of the most difficult things because you're using different parts of your mouth and your throat and your lips all at the same time. So you want to get that humming sound more kind of nasally and then throw the beat on top of that. So when you're first starting out, just hum and then make
This is
the
how I
bass drum
started
noise
out.
at the same time.
This is how I started. I basically just hummed songs that I knew and then did everything else before that. But I mean, it is what it is for other people. You know, people start, and some people know how to do a lip roll before they know how to like full on beatbox.
The hardest thing
crazy.
is adding the snare on top of that, because a lot of people want to go, but that doesn't really sound that great. If you go and then that's a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to take that bass sound and add another note on top of it, which gives it a richer sound. One of my favorite beatboxers is the current world female beatbox champion, Kayla Milady, and she adds these musical elements to make her beatboxing stand out. So far, everything we've done has been instrumental. So let's add some lyrics. The easiest way to begin is to start with B words, because you're already saying "buh" with the bass drum. So
Didn't I just say this like the other day
banana.
with Big Man? He's so good at it.
Beat, box, beat, box.
You can also use it with P, because that's the same shape that your mouth is already making for those sounds. Pop tart, pop tart, pop tart.
Pop-Tart,
So with other consonants, it's a little bit harder.
crunchy taco, crunchy taco.
Okay, this is making me hungry all of a sudden.
There is a split second, like say if I'm saying zebra, I'm just saying it a split hair after I do the bass drum. So it's zebra, zebra, zebra. But if I'm doing it so fast, it sounds like I'm doing it at the same time. Zebra, zebra, zebra. Or if you have a g sound, which sounds almost impossible to do a b and a g sound at the same time. But once you've been doing it a long time, pretty much any word is possible.
Go,
Gorilla,
go, go, go.
gorilla.
Dude,
So
that
the
is
most
hard to say.
exciting
Rilla, 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 rilla.
moment in beatbox history for me is when Rozelle beatboxed and sang at the same time.
Shit, Rozelle. Wait, is he gonna? Hold on. Is it gonna be "If Your Mother Only Knew"? It's gotta be that one, right? Or it's either that. I don't know about the Iron Man. She hasn't really talked about like bass voice and stuff. Oh, let's go!
He's saying if. You wouldn't normally think a bass drum and
If your mother only knew. Yo,
if would go at the
throw
same
it
time.
back.
If your mother.
She knows her history.
At the same time, that's crazy too. If your mother only knew. Before that,
All right,
people
where's
had
Drop It Like It's
rapped
Hot?
and
Is that gonna come
Maybe
into
did
this?
a little singing and beatbox, but it wasn't as cohesive and clean, and it blew people's minds. That's one of the reasons I'm beatboxing today. There's a form that's kind of taking off as well that Kid Lucky started, and amazing beatboxers like Kayla Milady are doing it.
I ain't going nowhere if you ain't by my side.
So now we're going to get more complex by adding different sound effects.
Uh-oh.
This is where you find your style,
Uh-oh.
what really makes
we go.
you stand out.
We're at the top
so
of the
these
roller
are different
coaster.
sounds that I've been developing over the years. I have the lip bass, tongue bass, growl bass, slither roll, trumpet, scratching.
That's pretty.
Oh yeah.
When I was younger, I used to bark like a dog. I would do that in class and scare people. You don't have to be good
Jesus.
at all these different sounds to be a good beatboxer.
That was
Just
pretty
find
accurate,
the
though.
sounds
Or, ew.
that you love and that represent you, and that's your style. I would say my trumpet is one of my most unique and
that
signature
sound-
sounds. It brings
sounds
out
clean
what
as hell.
makes my music me. I'm inspired by people like Miles Davis or Dizzy Gillespie. I love jazz, and that's what I grew up with. I love classical music, so I'm trying to get better at making a nice violin sound.
Yeah, I would never
Emulating
try that.
real instruments
Personally,
are
I would
probably
never
the
do that.
hardest because this is what people are most
I can't hit
familiar
that.
with. When you're trying to make the same sound, you gotta have it pretty spot on.
Before we move on to level 11, here's the first 10 levels all together. Beatboxer.
I love how she added in all these like sound effects that like beginners are gonna be like, yo, what the hell, dude? I was like people that are watching this for the first time ever, haven't beatboxed ever in their life, they're like, okay, baby steps, and then all of a sudden she throws in all these like year-long process sound effects that take you a long time to learn, and you just lost everybody. There has to be a point in time, easy to impossible for beginners. I'm assuming that's why they made this video, because Wired's kind of normie, they're for the normies. I knew. Hey, she did it. A beginner beatboxer, if they learn how to do a little of the humming, and then add in, like, you enhance your beatboxing tenfold, and people will be impressed instantly. Even though it's not very complex, it's not hard. Just being able to do that stuff.
For this next
That's
level,
where people
we're gonna
go like, whoa.
just back to the beat. But this time, it's all about new school.
Level 11, intricate beats.
So I'm starting with a drum and bass beat.
Hey, drum and bass, let's go. Getting the love,
You
getting
can
the
hear
love.
all the things that I'm doing, which sounds simple, but as I go faster, it sounds a bit more complex.
Yo, poor editor.
This level is more complex
I had to
because
highlight
your brain has
and time it up with
to
that
catch up with
sound.
what your mouth is doing, or your mouth has to catch up with what your brain is trying to do. But everything starts with a very simple beginning, and you can just like work it up and go as fast as you can. You can take it to the exponential level with how fast you can go, with how many sounds you can do within a certain beat. It's incredibly technical. So complexity isn't just about going for speed. For me, it's about being multidimensional. For level 12, I'm doing a classic song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and I'm singing, beatboxing, and playing the guitar at the same time. So it's complex because my brain
Okay,
is having
just
to
flexed on
operate at a
everybody.
different level, trying to do the beat and play and sing.
That is pretty
low,
nuts to do it all. Play an instrument and beatbox at the same time.
So I added trumpet at the beginning to give it kind of a jazzy flair that just sets up the song in a nice way. So it could be other instruments, but I love playing guitar. I love taking classics and just flipping them and making them sound more new.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
That sounds nice.
Low, sweet chariot, coming.
Then she
for
whips
to
out a
carry
loop
me
station.
home.
It's like, oh, by the way, I got this too.
And this last performance, I'm going to be live looping, which is overdubbing all the instruments that you see.
Oh
At
my God.
Keyboard, my guitar,
Oh,
my loop station,
knows how to
beatbox,
play a
vocals,
piano.
different sound effects.
Oh,
and
that's funny,
classic
dude.
trumpet sound.
You can't make this up.
So I sing Beatboxer play into the loop station, and it creates different layers.
By the way, anybody that's watching this and you got a iPhone or a good solid, like, there are apps out there, and you could, if you really want to go to this level, most iPhones now have GarageBand on it, and you could do looping if you please. You don't have to purchase a full-on loop station. I just love that the level she's going now is just like impossible to reach for just a person starting off.
That overdub. It's complex because I'm combining so many different elements, different instruments. There's no room for error because every sound has to be on the beat because it's looped.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I usually don't flex, but I gotta admit, my purchasing of microphones from back in the day that I still have now, like the mic that she was using for the tutorial. I purchased this in 2014, and I feel like we see it in like every beatbox video ever. And the mic that she's currently using right now, which I've had since the beginning when I used to put a sock on it. This beautiful puppy. Mwah. I might have started the trend of best microphones to use for beatboxing. Just throwing it out there. I might suck at beatboxing, but I can pick out some good hardware. I'm telling you, Loop Station's gonna take over. It's completely changed the game. I like this track though. Just had a delay effect on the guitar. I wanted to hear some sick riffs. We better hear something like a solo.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low.
I love beatboxing because it's completely unique. You're able to do so much just with your own body. There's all sorts of levels and intricacies of what makes beatboxing multi-dimensional. It's portable, it's fun, and it's pretty damn special. So I hope you enjoyed it, and
That was
thanks,
nice.
Swing low.
A round of applause. She did a really great presentation, honestly. Yeah, like look at this. 11 levels of origami, skateboard. Like I love this series. It just shows like basic steps. I mean, granted, we ramped up at the end there, but it really does show helpful basic steps to take if you want to get into it. And I appreciate it. Like visually, I'm a visual learner, and just even her like re-explaining basic stuff that like I already know, it's still fun to just see how another person interprets it or gets started, and that I really enjoy. She's amazing though. Like she just has skill across the board. Singer, instrumentalist, can beatbox, loop, all this stuff. It's impressive, and I'm glad that like she was a person to do this. You know, like it might have been maybe done differently if somebody was known for just beatboxing. Like maybe Gene would have done like a really, really good job with this because he is, you know, a multi-musician, and I think he would be fun at explaining this stuff as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what level is when you got into beatboxing. Sometimes you learned a complex sound first, and then you got into beatboxing that way. Or you just started straight from the beginning. Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what videos to check out for the future. I'll see you guys on the next one. Drop an L, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Shake 'em and break 'em.
I'ma need a grab, I'ma need a slap, I'ma need a nap, every little bit of that booty. Please don't use me like a tissue, I just wanna kiss you, and I really miss you. So hard to get through all the time alone, falling apart like Post Malone. All these bitches cheating, pay no mind. Don't at me if your pussy ain't no time. Just trying to be great before I die. I'm focused on that motherfucking grind.
Yeah, I'm focused on my grind. Back in the day when I used to snort lines, we fucked up all of the time. Now I'm focused up on my rhymes, I know what I'm worth. I'm tired of bitches, I just wanna hurt. She asking my goals, I told her the earth.